Certainly a bit of controversy that it wasn't 3 games this year with a 1-all.
I think there was, but I think right before the ball was kicked, everyone kind of knew the situation, and I think it was two good contests as well.
It's only going to be the team that lost that's going to be complaining.
Correct. Correct. So.
And here, back here in South Perth, see the Kiwi side with first use of the ball, taking it forward. Pumatai. Play the ball. Comes out to Stevens. Stevens goes out the back and straight away a little bit of space. Running themselves a little bit out of room, so the sliding defence works well. Cox goes back infield.
They handled that fairly well there, the City team. They slid fairly well together and handled the slide, and they've defended this set not too bad. If we can get a little bit of pressure on the kicker here and force them into a kick that isn't quite the best.
Toby kicking across field, and it's taken by City without too much of a contest, so they secure their first possession. Robinson gets into dummy half. One of those late switcheroos, of course I've got it down as on the Kiwi side, but switched over to City just before kick-off. Lane and owner Bush straightens, runs into Stevens and Leaf.
I think if I'm part of the City setup, I'll be telling them to run a lot of their traffic at number 13, Anika Stevens, because she's a very, very good defender, but also she's very good in attack. So the more tackles she makes, the more fatigued she'll be and the less damage she'll do in attack. So we'll see how they set their attack up, but they've managed to complete their first set with a nice little kick there at the end, but a good take by the winger and some strong contact.
Now the Kiwi side getting out of dummy half. Galiki Koyatu. Taifira Pumatai. Again taking that one forward. Leaves a couple of players in the ruck. 4 playing the ball. Stevens goes to the line, goes to the flat option, had some runners. Cherish Leaf pulls out the other side. Going to be hard to stop. Throws the pass, probably could have got there herself. Gives it back to Stevens. Stevens, desperate defence. Somehow they keep them out. Tiruhui fires one. They go wider. They've got massive numbers, but the ball hits the deck. Well, the City side, some great scramble to prevent the first points of this game.
I think the scramble under the goalpost was very good. I think the attempted tackles to lead up to that were, the girls will probably try and do a little bit better next time, but some great scramble defence there and a little bit of pressure on the pass there, and it goes to ground, and now they fall back into their attack, which is good for the City team. A little bit patchy there, a little bit shaky, but they managed to keep them out, which is the main thing, and roll back into their attack now. So there plenty of talk out there from the girls, which is good, and hopefully they can complete this set.
Bush put down centre field. Just looking for who from the City side is actually going to take charge. Seems to be a few options on the Kiwi side of the fence, but so Robinson has taken on a lot of that responsibility here early. Kicks that one down. Biddle.
Good tackle around the legs there.
Well, had to be made there, Mariah Bell. Get out of dummy half. Toby just takes the metres on offer. Biddle into dummy half again. This time goes the short option. Stevens finds some space in behind the ruck. Leaves one in a wake. Gets a late offload to Foster. The ball's come free. Kiwis have still got the ball.
Knock on ruled by the referee.
I thought there was a knock on, but the call took a while to come.
Hanging on here, the City team.
Yeah, that's about all they're doing at the moment. Defending their line well, but
I think that's the challenge as well for the Perth Kiwis, not to push that pass, and they're making breaks. The first probably two attacking sets they've made a break, tackle 2, tackle 3, and then a little bit offload happy. But twice now they've kind of fallen into a bit of an error and let the other team off the hook. So
Patience the order of the day, you reckon?
I think so. I think they just probably need to stick to simple footy that's kind of allowing them to make the breaks, and then on the back of that just fall back into some nice structure. But the City team here are finding it hard to make some meters.
Well, with the offload from inside our own territory. Work right out to that right-hand touchline. Run out of dummy half that ran straight into the marker. In a wall. Looking to promote a little bit of second phase just to try and get a bit of extra territory.
I think they've just got to do anything necessary to promote the footy, to play a little bit unstructured, to make some meters. Just because otherwise, if they fall into the trap of just trying to take them on one out, they're going to struggle a little bit here.
Not getting to their kick on that occasion. Hands over possession. And Stevens, well, found way more space in front of her than she thought she was going to have. Now pass to Toby. Thirui works down this short side with Wiley. Wiley dummies, gets to the outside, fullback to beat, gets past Bell, gets up to go again. Again tackled just short. Fire it wide, and again Foster, the pass though forward. Again, that word patience. They make a break, a half break, and then look to score on the next play, but come up with the error.
Some would think I know what I'm talking about. Not often, but it's paid dividends on this one. And I think as well, just the last 3 errors they've made 10 metres within the try line. So, yeah, if they stay patient, they'll score points. But at the minute, they're pushing the pass and probably forcing themselves into making decisions they don't need to make and turning the possession over. But their defence at the minute is definitely holding up, and I think the City team currently aren't really offering too much in attack. But they're slowly kind of finding their feet, and the players are falling into their positions. Obviously, a few late changes there, so they'll get there, I think. But I think they just need the leaders in their team to stand up and just take a few carries and get them up the field and keep it nice and simple for the other girls. Nice tackle down low.
Well, again, a set of 6 where they're not making too much territory at all, stuck inside their own 20.
Here we go. Bit
Looking
of a
to
shift.
Looking to go wide to find some space somewhere, but
I think the key, it's the last tackle, but the key now they've shift widened a little bit, and as you can see now they've got a few numbers there, but they've kicked on the last, as you always do, which is good, and not a bad chase there. So, if they hold the ball and find a bit of field position, I'm sure they'll come into the game a little bit. But at the minute, finding it a bit hard, I suppose, to get out of their end, and the Kiwis are suffocating them in defence, and obviously with the ball in attack, they're creating opportunities. So we'll see what this set brings.
Just trying to number up here. Goes to Claire. Claire goes out wider. Pass around the corner. Desperate defence. Bell again scrambles across. The pass inbound and knocked on.
Knocked back, I think.
No, they're going to call play on. Going out of dummy half. And the Kiwis eventually get across to score. Well, it was only a matter of time, you felt.
It was only a matter of time, but I think that even though they conceded there, the City team, they scrambled really well in defence. They forced an offload. That offload is then, they've got a hand on it, which is why the referee called 6 again. But, little things like that, if they catch that offload and then they kind of diffuse the issue once again, they fall back into possession. But unfortunately, it fell into the wrong hands, and then a quick play of the ball and some smart work out of dummy half there, and obviously they've gone over for a try. So it'll be a tough kick into the wind for Nick Stevens. So hopefully for the City team it remains at 4-0, but I'm sure Nicks will be looking to convert it.
Doesn't take too much time about the kick. It does remain 4 points to 0. Favourite Perth Kiwi over Perth City in this women's clash. And the City team just taking a little bit of extra time behind the goalpost. No rush to get back to halfway for the kickoff.
Listening to the expertise of Donny Bell Jr., Mitch Wade Whalen.
Seems he's got plenty to tell him. Let's see if his expertise pays off in the next few minutes.
I think they need a big kick and a big chase, and hopefully get some field position and then have a bit of fun with that football. But we'll see what the kickoff brings. But I think, you know, it's really, I suppose, as we can probably see here on the camera, that there is a couple of girls out there with different shorts in the City team, and a few late changes across to the opposite team, let's say. So I think good on the girls for you know, jumping across to the other team and filling two squads. Maybe not their first preference, but at least we've got a game of footy happening, and at the minute some good rugby league on display.
Now
nice
Toby into the backfield, and Bell's having to do a power of defence at fullback.
And she's forced the error.
Last line of defence. She's been very, very impressive, Mariah Bell, in the early going here.
I think from a fullback point of view, probably not ideal that you're making that many tackles so early in the game.
Leading the tackle count? No.
But, you know, she's making some good stops in defence, and I suppose she's forced an error there and scrambled earlier. It did lead to the try, but scrambled and stopped them from scoring, let's say, easier. So I think probably from Mariah's point of view, she probably wants to be doing a bit more attack at the minute, which hopefully she can do this set. But some great defensive efforts, which is definitely keeping her team in this game and keeping that score at 4-0 currently.
Picked up and put down gently enough. Whenever a player gets lifted up like that, the hearts go into the mouth momentarily, but all's well that ends well. It's Robinson. Had to stand in that tackle before playing it. Goes out the back, a couple of dummies to no one in particular. The markers work well on that occasion. Nona Bush.
Strong run there from Lena.
Get up to the final play.
Charge
put
down.
A kick in. Charge down by Stevens.
Something, anything.
So it's going to be a scrum feed to the Kiwi side. So charge down from Stevens, then knocked on by City and knocked on by Stevens then after that. So they get a reward for that kick pressure.
What's your thoughts on the charge down, Donny?
Well, I don't know that you get a lot of reward for it in the modern game.
Oh, good defence there. Forces the error. So the City team finally getting a bit of field position.
More often than not, with the charge down, you just hand over another set of 6 to the opposition. But now Bell, we said she wants to attack.
There you go. This is what they need to do, offloads, and just keep pushing up with the ball carrier. Keep asking the questions of the defence.
Robinson out of dummy half. Not too much there for her. And they look to set a platform. They're really their first opportunity. Down this end of the field. City side again, charging towards the line.
I think they want to keep coming left here.
Gone the other way. Spinning out at
Try
dummy
time.
half. Gets over the line. And Tau Tamatoa. Well, it seems pretty soft in the end. Just got out of dummy half. All eyes were on the outside ball runners. Was just able to spin over and put the ball down. So all of a sudden, it's 4-all with a kick to come, and City look like they might be in front.
Good eyes there from Anthea. Summed up her options. I think she's telling them how to take a conversion now, which is good. But you know, good on the City team for probably, the first real opportunity they've got in this half, and good field position, and completed their set right through to the last tackle and managed to borrow away over from dummy half. So, and we add the conversion, 6-4. With just over 4 minutes remaining, probably 3.5 by the time the kickoff happens in this first half. And I think, you know, all the adversity they're facing, all the people or players that are just turning up, or as we look across there to the subs bench, there's a few girls just putting their boots and socks on from prior commitments this morning. It's probably always easier coming off the bench with your team leading 6 points to 4. So we'll see how they can handle this set of attack.
Or not.
Or not. Not ideal, but that's okay. I'm sure they'll lift their heads up and keep defending their goal line, which they have been doing this first half.
On the Kiwi side, they'll look to regain the lead with this attacking set. The scrum feed. Toby organising her outside runners. We'll line up Wiley. And, well, I think Wiley might have just missed her assignment there.
I think just on that one, Donnie, like it's, I don't know, it's maybe clearer for us up here watching, but it was probably clear there that the pass wasn't quite on. And I think sometimes in our game, there's a lot of our players, probably in the game just before the 18s boys as well, is that we kind of feel obliged just to, you know, dish it off sometimes, and 9 times out of 10 it leads to an error. You know, where I think there, Toby may have just been better on taking a medicine and just holding that football and then falling into their attacking set. And you know, they've had no real shortage of creating opportunities, but yet they give the ball back to the City team, who now, I suppose, can kind of take charge of this.
It's a difficult skill to learn. Like you run through that play at training. You run through that play at training. When you get in the game, you want to execute the play, but you've still got to play what's in front of you. You still got to react to what the defence does.
That's the key, is that a lot of training these days, when we see our squads training, they're running their shape and they're running their plays, and they're kind of running it at no one. Especially with some of these girls' tackle teams, you know, within the male game, I suppose on a Thursday you can have a bit of a first grade against reserve grade and stuff like that. But a lot of the girls' tackle team, they train maybe separately from their clubs on a different night of the week, because that's the availability they've got. You know, so sometimes they might not really see the scenarios in front of them. But as we see the City team here attacking, last tackle, probably looking for a repeat set. A little bit of a deeper kick there. Will it bounce back? A bit too deep.
Had plenty on it there, Robinson, and goes over the dead ball line. It's not the shallowest in goal, so there is a bit of room to work in, but not quite that much. It's the Kiwi side with the quick tap and off and running. Grace Matthew. Now pass, they go out a bit wider and some room now. Kaliki Koyatu puts on the afterburners, and away she goes. It's a good chase. It keeps her out a little bit wider, doesn't allow her to bring it around under the sticks, but a good long-range try. There's some star power out there in that Kiwi side, and there's a little bit of it as they regain the lead, going up 8 points to 6 with a kick to come. Yeah, we haven't seen the goal kickers take a great deal of the time with the kicks, and that one hits the post and bounces away. So it remains 8-6. Kiwi over City. We get down to the final seconds of this first half. And what an important try there, Gus, right on half-time to give the Kiwi side the lead at the break.
And really make it go down to the wire. But I think as we look at the two teams, the Kiwi team's obviously a little bit more experienced. Probably got a few more of them, let's say, X-Factor star players. But, you know, the first half, the City team held the ball. They completed their sets. They made their way up the field, and they scored some points. So, you know, there's been a few reinforcements to the game for the second half. So we'll see how they go. But I think a good contest, hopefully, will definitely happen.
Little put down, centre of halfway. That pass hits the deck. Ruled to have gone backwards. Ruanaki picks it up, gets it out to Nona Bush. Now Bell.
A lot of depth in attack.
Maybe a bit too much depth, but
there we go.
Good strong carry.
You want to come right again here? Hopefully.
They look that side. Ruanaki. Going to put boot to ball. Kicks back across her own body. And taken by the Kiwi side. Bell there again in defence. She has been playing fullback, but looks like she might have moved up into the defensive line.
Laid off
the second half. It's the Kiwis looking to attack as they move up towards the halfway line. At the back of Robinson, who switched sides in this second half. Oh. They were halfway through. Again, as we saw in the first half, a half break followed by a mistake.
And that, you know, there's probably no real excuse there. I think, you know, and it's the player herself, she didn't mean to drop the ball. She's probably frustrated that she did, but just a little lapse in concentration and a little bit of a look up before the ball was secured in the grasp and giving away possession. But we'll see how the City team fall back into their attack. Now they get it on their own 40, so they'll be looking to test the line at some point in this probably latter stage of the set and make their way up to the try line and see how they go. So
the halfback put the ball in the scrum and then almost gave it another nudge with the hand to push it back in the scrum. And an error from the City side straight away. There's making territory without the ball.
I think that's the key thing with this game as well. We've seen now, this is probably the second or third time that straight after one team's got the ball back, straight from the scrum, they give up possession straight away. So I suppose with all our teams and with all our players, you want to try and complete your sets and get through your sets, but giving up easy possession isn't always what we want to try and do. And the City team here are probably putting themselves under a bit more pressure than they need to.
Now with Leaf, bumps away from one, again looks to go through the middle, put down onto her back. Now Robinson, turns that one underneath. Malcolm Heke and just powers over the line, they couldn't stop her. Above Malcolm Heke. And the Kiwis extend this lead. Kick from right in front. They lead 12-6. This will give them an 8-point advantage. And the City side punished for that error on this occasion. Conversion attempt from right in front. Flags go up. So 14 points to 6. Kiwi over City.
I think the weather's starting to maybe turn a little bit again. So that'll add another element to the game, I suppose. In terms of who completes the set, who holds the ball, and so on and so forth. But the Kiwis obviously good start to the second half for them, scoring early points.
Certainly come through in waves, the weather. The flashes of blue sky and sunlight, and then now we've got the rain coming down. And the Bunnings umbrellas. There's only about 4 people that don't have them.
Have you got one?
Yeah, of course I've got one. Everyone's got one.
They are good quality umbrellas, so I think maybe NRLWA, we might be trying to hit up Bunnings for a bit of sponsorship and see if they want to support our game, because our people support their business, clearly.
Oh,
fantastic.
Great contact.
Downstairs there by Lena, forces the error.
Well, it's not often that Cherish Leaf doesn't go straight through the first attempted tackle. That occasion, right up around the ball, and it pops out. Now it's really coming down. The ball hits the deck. Away from the first tackle. Going across field though, the City side. Up quickly, trying to play the ball. Tamatoa. The City try scorer. Held up. Just trying to go forward through the middle. Not a lot of room to work in. Presidio. Pass out the back. Bell puts it down. It's not going to be easy handling in these conditions. Pass down around the ankles. All the players out there are loving it. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
I think at the minute there's maybe, if you're not playing, there's maybe one worse spot, and that's warming up for the next game. There's nothing worse than warming up in the rain. At least when you're playing in the rain, you're fairly focused on the task at hand, which is playing, as the girls are.
Look, ball again hitting the ground. Another knock on.
Once again, just taking the eye off the ball and forcing the error. There's always another opportunity now for Perth City to get themselves back into this contest. 8-point margin. At 11.5 minutes left on the clock. You feel they need to be next to score. It's with Bell. They got up quickly on her. Tipped that on nicely. Dummy half eventually gets there. No one really wanted that roll. Bell again. Late offload. Nona Bush. Carries a couple. Picks up an extra 6 or 7 metres. The City side, straight and hard. McGregor. Told Tamatoa to come back towards Little. Go wider to Ruhanaki. Goes back in towards the middle. Just looking to find some space. Footwork. Oh. I think she may have stepped one too many times there.
She almost straightened through a hole, and then you're right, stepped again. Bell.
Bit of space there.
Nona Bush towards the line, rolling. She could smell the line, but just couldn't quite get the ball there. Again with Bell. She
sideways kick.
just come off the shin and gone sideways, and the Kiwi side have ended up with it. Now a penalty for offside, so helping the Kiwi side out of their own end. A good kick from Stevens, finds the line.
There might be a pot of gold on that second field somewhere because the rainbow seems to be...
That's where it's landing.
Landing on George Burnett Park.
There it is. Shining down on the Kiwi men's team. Warming up pretty much in that position. Let's see if the Kiwi women's side can put this one to bed here. 9.5 to go. Big set of 6. Claire. Good contact there from Little. Makes that tackle. Keep working to this side through Stevens. Tracking across field, looking for a runner to straighten it. She straightens it herself in the end. Takes the tackle, another quick play the ball. We're in a wall. Burst through the first tackle. Some Bell down low on tackle 5. Now Claire puts the kick through, needs a bounce, doesn't get it, rolls over the dead ball line. And a free walk to the 20. Again, good pressure from Mariah Bell on the inside. Forced the miss kick.
That was good, real good pressure, and it forced her. She was off balance. Probably the kick was a little bit too heavy there, and I think, without Mariah in this City team today, there's probably, instead of it being an 8-point margin, it's probably a 20 to 22-point margin. I think she's saved a few tries, and just little efforts like that in defence just to really put a bit of pressure on, and even in attack, she seems to be the one that's orchestrating a lot of their attacks. So, a real good performance so far from Mariah, and hopefully she can find some points for her team in the back end of this game and bring them back into the contest and maybe push them on to a win.
I certainly feel like she's taken on a lot more responsibility in this game than that I'm used to seeing.
Well, I think you have to as well. When the teams are, I'm not going to say lopsided like this, but when there's more experienced players in one team and less experienced in another, the experienced players within that team have to, stand up and, be counted and I suppose just take the lead for some of the newer girls or newer players, and I think Mariah's really done that, which is good to see. So she's playing well.
Now down that short side, some good footwork from Lena Nona Bush. Playing out on an edge. Spell puts boot to ball. Taken on the full. A chance now. Well, not much of a chase at all there from the City side. They get back to where the kick came from and then some.
Very sloppy play the ball there.
And more than sloppy. An error. So the City side, they're just hanging in there. 14-6. Starting this set in decent field position.
I think if I'm the City team, we've got, Mariah, Lena, Ari, that are probably 3 of our more experienced players. I'd be looking for them to really step up in this set. And, I know that Lena's playing on an edge there, but I'd be pulling her into the middle and trying to get that football in her hands more often than not to really try and just, I suppose, cause something as we see the player break through the tackle there and take another 10 to 15 metres and get the City team on the front foot.
Carry over. Tal Tamatoa. They come across towards the middle. Just looking to set up a shot at the line. Again, another settler. One-on-one tackle. Great contact. They come to the right-hand side. Ruru Hanaki. Basketball pass over the top. It's backwards, all backwards, but picked up by the Kiwis. We can have a knock on.
I think the first knock on might have been off the Kiwis there. I think that's Referee Solomon's ruled, so it'll give the City team another set of 6 to attack that line, and 5.5 minutes left in the contest to try here would really make it an enjoyable last 5 minutes. So we'll see what the girls can do, and hopefully they can get over the line for a try, and we can have a nail-biting finish.
Let's hope for that. Looks like all those players out to this left-hand side. We want with the ball in hand. It's Bell. Tanona Bush. Bell wraps around. Gets the ball out wider. They've got a chance here. Over towards the corner. Back in field. The Kiwi side, they adjust. They get across. They do just enough. Tanona Bush.
I like that play from the winger there. She obviously aware enough that maybe not have the pace and didn't want to get bundled into touch, so just a nice little inside ball to the back to the centre, and they stay on the attack, which is good to see.
Goes to Bell. Tanona Bush stands, takes the contact. They get it out wide. They dive for the corner. Touch judge is happy. And the City side are in.
Fantastic hands out there on the left edge. Fantastic finish in the corner, and nice and simple. A little bit of an out ball, you know. Mariah Bell to Tanona Bush. Two more experienced players getting their hands on the football, and they've created a little bit of space out wide and gone in at the corner. So 14 points to 10. Kick to come. Very, very tough kick, I'd say, but nonetheless, they're now within a score to try and regain that lead. So very good work from the City girls.
Very tough kick. I worked to that side a couple of times, and you know, again, just pretty much as you said, the players that we wanted to get involved: Rua Anaki, Mariah Bell, and Tanona Bush. Those experienced players getting their hands on the ball in that set in the red zone, was able to create the opportunities.
They were, and I think, you know, it's just little things like that when you've got some less experienced players in your team or new combinations, and especially in a game like this where it's a one-off game. You know, they might have had two, three training runs tops, and that's about it. Maybe 1.5. But then, you know, they experienced players, if they just take a bit of charge, give a bit of direction, a bit of you know, commentary around where they want to get to and what they want to set up for, it just makes everyone else's job that little bit easier. So great work for them. Goal kick unsuccessful, but you know, 14 points to 10, 3 minutes left. Anyone's game.
Absolutely, and it'll be the City side from the kickoff. Will get used to the ball. Just under 3 minutes to go. They should get a set, maybe 2 sets with the ball, but they've got to come up with something very, very shortly.
Well, I think the first thing they need to do is probably set up for this kickoff, because with someone like Anika Stevens kicking off, you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be targeted at the sideline, and if we're not ready, it's going to bounce out.
And that's exactly what happens. They weren't set up, they weren't ready. The Kiwi side raced back to the halfway line. The City side was still having conversations up around halfway. And Tony Romo does it again. He's sitting next to me. Just calling things before they happen.
If anyone wants the lottery numbers, let me know.
Now the Kiwi side getting the ball back after that successful restart from Stevens. Straight and hard. Malcolm already got one. Now they come to Stevens. Stevens goes out the back. They've got numbers here, although the pass just a little bit behind, but great footwork. One left foot step, beat 4 players. And Tarima scores for the Kiwis, and that will wrap it up for them. Well, a minute left on the clock. I've had to work pretty hard for it in the end, the Kiwi side.
They have, and you know, it was probably shaping up to be a game where they could have really put the City team to the sword and run away with it, but credit to the City girls, they've really stuck in this one and scored a couple of good tries and you know, kept it a respectable scoreline, and they've really given them a good account of themselves. So congratulations to all the girls that have played, and obviously congratulations to the Perth Kiwis for getting the win in this one and making it 2-1 on the day to the City franchise, let's say, as we see this final conversion about to happen.
Waved away. It remains 18-10, 20 seconds left on the clock. I don't know that we're going to see too much more.
Who are we thinking?
Oh,
Player of the game, Donny?
Geez, that one's a tough one. It's a very tough one to sort of find. I think Anika Stevens has obviously played her role as she normally does. There's not too many from the Kiwi side that for me really stood out. But Mariah Bell was a standout for the City side, but beaten by 8 points. I don't know that you'd be giving player of the match there, but difficult one for you, mate. Good luck.
Well, you said it. You're the one who we're going to appoint to the blame to. But I think for me, it's maybe not the most popular thing to do. But I think Mariah Bell, probably the difference she made in the game from her team, if she wasn't scrambling in defence, if she wasn't out there being that direction in attack, if she wasn't there on that field, it probably becomes a very more one-sided game. So I think player of the day today for me is probably Mariah Bell. So we'll see how that goes down. And
yeah, I honestly wouldn't disagree. I mean, yeah, I know on the team that got beat, but I agree. I think they get beat by 20 points more if it wasn't for Bell. I think